Yes, extract the word. That's what happening there.
On the screen.
Yeah, good enough.
All set. Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome along to our monthly meeting. We've got three people to talk in the public forum, so that will take them first. And the first up is Paul from Harvey from Darfield Residents Association, Harvey Podcast.
Stephen. On behalf of the DRA, I've got a presentation regarding freedom camping. This presentation was prepared by Daniel Albee from the newspaper, so it's quite a good presentation, I believe. Currently, council don't have any freedom camping policy. There's some sites around the place, such as Coes Ford, which are nominated for freedom camping, but otherwise people are, as long as they're self-contained, presumably can park anywhere they like. What we're proposing specifically for Darfield is that we take the area down by the near the rec centre. As you can see from the proposal, it was the car park originally for the rec centre. It's adjacent to the dump site for camper vans. And what we're suggesting is that the council nominate that specifically as a freedom camping site so that it can be publicised through the various media that the campers use. We see that as an opportunity, for example, for tourists coming back from the West Coast, stopping the night in Darfield because they've got to be at the airport the next day. They can get out there and spend some money in Darfield getting breakfast and the pie shop and that sort of thing. And believe if it's a fairly simple exercise in terms of all we're going to need, or all the council are going to need, is some signage. We believe it should be designated a maximum of 2 nights stay, and it's got to be for obviously self-contained campers only. There is a toilet adjacent to the area, which is in tidy condition, I understand. The site itself probably needs just a little bit of a tidy up in terms of evening out the shingle, trimming a bit of the trees around the place. It does also require some rubbish bins for recycling. Well, probably not recycling, but definitely rubbish for collection. So that we don't see any major investment needed from the council point of view. And we think this would be a benefit. We have come across, for example, in the Sheffield Domain, campers there overnight, and they're not sure. We've stopped there to chat with them. They're not sure should we be camping there. So generally, of course, people aren't too sure, but we believe this will be an opportunity to establish something specifically for Darfield, which hopefully will increase the usage of the facilities in the village. That's it.
Thank you. Now you've got in front of you, board members, the documentation, and the heard Harvey's comments. I looked at the site myself this morning. It's ideally situated. It's got a gravel yard now, so it needs grading and filling in, and there's a lot of rubbish lying around there. So if we have a rubbish bin there and a few campers putting a bit in, I think we'll solve one problem as well as getting another asset for another service for the village.
One thing I just could add, that it doesn't interfere. Obviously, it's a sports. It overlooks the cricket ground, but we would envisage the campers would be coming in sort of late afternoon, evening. So we don't anticipate that sort of interfering with the parking for the cricket ground.
You're right. Yeah.
So is the I'm just looking at the first photo because I've just got this now. So where the table and that is that
That's
actually closed off?
Yeah. It's
Can you drive through it onto the cricket ground?
no.
That's what I'm just double checking because I thought, oh gosh, if they can drive onto it.
You see the table in the background there?
Yes.
There's poster wire ring right around the.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
No, that's what I was just double checking.
Yeah, that is an ideal site for what Harvey's proposing.
And that's the toilet block there. And see the big matracarpa tree at the end here? If you come one more up, there's one more like that, the branches need trimming off. So that they go across the, if you come in the gateway, right on the side of the shingles. Yeah. So you can see by the, I've been across to look at the cricket sometimes and park there, and it's quite it. But
Okay.
all right, what happens
Just,
now?
if I can ask
Yeah.
Harvey one question, is the Residents Association thinking that you'd like to restrict freedom camping in other parts of the area, or just?
No,
only
no,
this
we
one?
just think it should be
Okay.
designated as a specific
designated,
site.
yeah, thank you.
Obviously, the likes of Coes Ford is shut over the winter and those sorts of things, so. We believe if tourists can see in there, however they communicate that there is a specific site, and it's
Okay.
just a bit more positive.
You could also quite easily let the Motor Caravan Association know about it, because their members are very, very responsible.
Mm.
And I think there's already a lot used the dump station, so we would get around reasonably quickly.
All right,
Also add.
certainly.
Yes,
Thank
so
you.
I am also in support of the proposal because it draws in tourism and it actually protects the area for Freedom Campus and contains the campus, and I believe there's utilities there for them to use, like toilet facilities as well.
Yeah.
And of course, it's only opposite, the ITM is the only other business in the area, the rest is parked.
So your request, can I just clarify to the MCB, are you asking us to?
I'm
put the
asking you to
proposal
support
forward?
it and get council to action the signage and the necessary tidying up.
I'd like to move that we accept this proposal. I think it's very well thought out, very well written, and put a resolution to council that we'd like this enacted, please.
And how would we do that?
So I think we add it to the action table. I'll
Mhm.
come back to you with the plan of attack,
Yeah.
what we'd need, what you'd need to know, and then that will then set out what the next steps would look like.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
So we have a seconder.
Yes.
Okay, all in favour, aye. This came up at the DRA meeting last week, and Harvey asked me how do we, this is a job the board can do. I said, well, the board can get the resolution passed and then it goes to council.
Yeah.
So we're all quite clear, Harvey. We passed the resolution, we now passed on to council, and will you report to us as well as Harvey what's happening? Or it'll go into our list of things, and
Yeah,
we'll know as soon as you do.
Yeah. We'll make it a part of the action table, so then it's part of the formal record, and you'll get a formal response through that and through my next CEO report.
And
Cool.
Barry was in favour too, just so it's recorded.
Thank you, Barry.
Thanks, Barry.
Thanks, Barry. All right, John?
And council in 2017 did a freedom camping research report, so that should be in the inbox of the board members and the DRA.
2017. And you see the one at White Cliffs, which is basically the same as this, it's shut during the winter months. So I reckon that people who on the cell phones, there'll be cars there as soon as up and going, there'll be cars there. All right, Robbie, is it your turn now?
Sure that I'm next or not.
Well, what's I take you next, eh?
Okay, right.
So,
Bex is going to introduce you and grab a seat, Robbie, and Bex will tell us what you're here for.
This is one for Robbie. He's a large part of the Horata community. The very first day I arrived in Horata, Robbie was the very first person that came to our door to welcome us into the community, which was absolutely brilliant. Just full disclosure, things that Robbie's going to be talking about will lay into that affect me as well personally with my home. So just so everyone's aware of that as well. Go for it, Robbie.
Basically, flooding has been a problem at my property for, well, probably be forever, but probably in the last 15 years since the dairy farm has gone up on the hill there, we have huge amounts of water that's standing at my gate. And there's some other ones there, my lawn. That's what I regularly have to put up with, goes through my sheds. I have been complaining to the council for probably at least the last 15 years, sending pictures. We had a meeting regarding the culvert up Downs Road recently, and no one was aware. There's no record, there's no pictures of all the things that have happened in the past. Very, very disappointed that you're replacing the culvert on Downs Road, which doesn't flood. Huge amount of effort has gone there. And a huge amount of money for something that doesn't need doing. And here's my culverts that do need doing. I'm not even on the agenda. They've done another two. They've done one on Scots Road and they've done one on Thwaites Road, and they're just culverts that go nowhere. They're just a hole dug in the ground with a culvert. One has been a culvert that's never had water running through it. They've replaced that with an even bigger culvert, which will still have no water running through it. And it's just the sheer waste of ratepayers' money. And over the last 3 years, we've seen inflation, our rates increase by far more than inflation. And like, times are tough, you know, and to be spending money on things that just do not need doing. You know, I can see like all these jobs get awarded to Cord don't even do them. So there's a large saving of money if you just gave that directly to the contractor. The one up Downs Road, you really need to go and have a look at that, because I think someone's going to get killed there. There's this huge big hump in it. Cars get airborne. The whole layout of it is just totally ridiculous.
Well, Roger, we're talking about two things here.
Yeah,
We're talking
I know.
about your flooding.
Yes.
Now we've got on to the other problem. with the
Okay, yep,
culverts.
rightio. But that is part of the flooding too. They haven't understood that where the flooding is actually coming from.
But
Flooding.
getting back to your, excuse me, your probably the corner there.
Yeah.
The rain comes off, the water comes off the hills. Excuse me. Where can it go? It used to go to the pit, but the pit gets filled up.
The pit is filled up with silt, and the council took a lot of rubbish in there probably 40 years ago. So I get a lot of silt in my creek, and that's regularly cleaned out, and the pit hasn't been cleaned out for ever since I've lived there. I've lived there nearly 45 years. So that is a major problem, is it's all full of silt. That needs digging out. That will help a little bit.
It won't actually solve the problem, because the water table on our property just down the road at Thwaites Road is only 14 metres.
Yeah.
So you can't dig the hole out, it'll just fill up with water. So
I realise that.
so
It's a matter of trying to direct the water off into different places.
Yeah.
Happy Jack's Creek overflows. That comes down to me as well as Aikens Road. So there's a whole big. They could be like Happy Jack's Creek should be massive. It used to be massive, but it's now nothing. The forward of Plantation Road is tiny compared with what it used to be 30 years ago. And that would allow that water to go right out to the Selwyn. Wouldn't even need to, you know, be there, could just be got rid of. But what's happening is that is going down Plantation Road, and then that is flooding the village. So the council are busy at the village doing little wee bits and pieces, but they're not actually doing the core problem. They're sort of like putting an ambulance at the bottom of the cliff. Whereas if you can stop that water from, get that Happy Jack's Creek widened right out to Forward and Plantation Road, get that massive like it used to be, get it cleaned right out, and that's going to get rid of a lot of that water, because that Happy Jack's water does come down to me as well, because that overflows, it runs down to Aikens Road corner, and then it goes round that house and then round to me again, or down Plantation Road, fills the pit, and then that all ends up in Horata.
now just to, so people understand, Happy Jack's Creek is dockland.
Half and half.
I don't.
One side's council, one side's
The
dock.
the bit on that goes through from Horata Road to what used to be our boundary is council land.
From what
One
I
side
understand.
is.
Yeah, from what I
So
understand.
we're talking about, we've got a council land and a dock land, and you've got that other thing called mudfish land.
I know.
So,
But there's a solution there.
but anyway,
But the forward in Plantation Road has been altered, obviously, so that is tiny compared with what it used to. I've got videos of basically a river heading down Plantation Road, you know, river like 6 inches deep, with someone driving up the whole length of Plantation Road from Scots Road corner, basically, and it's just a river, and that all ends up in the village, and then eventually it ends up in the Horata Township.
well, the water comes down from Happy Jack's Creek to Scots Road, down the left-hand side of Scots Road, into George Place,
Yeah.
and then into the pit.
Mm.
So it's,
But the pit needs some work, and we've been trying to get the pit, something done with the pit, but we've been told that the pit is polluted and there's nothing ever going to be done. So why put a big culvert to get more into it?
so that the new culverts are going to put more water into the pit.
Culvert's right beside the pit.
But no water will run through that culvert because it's in the wrong place. The water is on the down, the culvert is facing uphill.
Okay,
So it
Steve.
basically goes to the left-hand side of the road and then follows down the road and goes into the pit. Doesn't go through the culvert that's just been replaced.
I just asked, thanks, Robbie. I just asked CEO, what plan do we, what's the approach, Steve?
So I know the team have been out to talk with some of the residents. I think the team have committed
Been
coming
out,
back.
been
Yeah,
active recently, yeah.
yeah. So look, obviously I'm sort of feeling my way through this one. What I've got is I've asked the team for a bit more information on the overall flood modelling for the district, and I think that will tie in a little bit to this. And I'm seeking a bit more of an update on how the culverts work program has been created and established. But what I might also do is, Robbie, I might come out and be part of their next catch up, or come out separately and just have a wander
That
around.
would be good because, you know, it's, like those pictures there, went right through all the sheds, everything like that.
Yeah.
And it's just not on really. Yeah.
You
You know,
can hear it
to
under
see-
your house, can't you? You can actually hear it running under his house when it's running.
Yeah, right up to my floorboards in the house. I put a big bund around the house, which, I mean, you shouldn't need to be doing all these things.
Mm.
So I want to move the driveway so I can keep getting, because obviously it fills up my bund and then it runs around and then runs under my house. I mean, I know I'm in the lowest spot, but it wasn't a problem 40 years ago. Maybe probably in, you know, because I'm at the bottom, so obviously there has been flooding there in the past. I'm not denying that, but like it's major now. You only need a couple of inches of rain over you know, a few hours and that's it, and it's just an absolute torrent. This last lot of rain we've had, pretty much nothing, because we didn't get much rain. It's obviously got more centralised up towards you know, North Canterbury, Kaikoura. So the creek hardly even run. So what happens, basically there's two culverts, one opposite my driveway, and then there's one that comes across the road. Both of them are way too small. So the first one that goes across the road, which is access to the farmer's paddock, that overflows and then that runs up my driveway.
But the distance of the two culverts is only how far?
Twin culvert.
Yeah, it's
Between
not
two
too
culverts,
far.
about 100,
Yeah,
100,
20,
200.
25 metres
It's
probably.
25, it's not far.
Yeah, it's
So-
not very
So
far.
right near
So
each
that's
other.
part of what I'm asking, is to understand what's driven the design, understand, and I think the flood modelling has done quite a bit of that, but equally, I'm just seeking a little bit more information to understand, but I'll come out and ground truth it with you, Robbie.
Because I said to him, don't do the modelling. I said, you need to talk to the people properly. And I said, because as far as they were concerned, there's not a problem at my corner. And I think, well, how can you not look at these pictures and see that there's not a problem when, you know, you need to go and talk to each property owner and say, what happens here? Because nobody knows it better. I mean, I know what happens at home. I don't know exactly what happens at Happy Jack's. I've got a fair idea because I've seen it. And I don't know what happens up the Downs Road or in the village, but I tried to get them when they come out last, tried them to come up and talk to Chris Thwaites, go and look at the pit, but they said, no, we haven't got time. And-
Right, Rob, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I 3 years ago, we owned that there, and we had the same problems because it come down into Happy Jack's Creek, run down, you won't come down the road. So I know a bit about it.
Yeah.
You've got the CEO here, and I think you haven't had a CEO listen to the story.
No, I think that we're making a little bit of headway, but prior to that, I think that what happened is that Daniel, who used to work for the council, he kind of got his head around it, but I think he was just stymied as there was about 4 people above him, and it just got stymied by the time it got to the top.
All right, well, time's up, but thank you for
Okay,
coming
I
along.
appreciate you
Lovely.
listening, and hope you've understand what
You got a rubber dinghy on,
You don't
tied up
start
there.
growing rice.
You got a rubber dinghy on standby there, have you?
Just about.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, listening, and thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks, Robbie.
Can that go on the next list for the 4th of September?
Certainly, yeah.
Excuse me, can I
Just-
just comment
No,
about,
but just hang on, please. To get it on next list, we've got to.
Those details today.
No, no.
Look, I think my response to Robbie is enough of an action. I don't think you need a resolution. I don't, you're happy to vote on that
Yeah.
if you
No,
want.
no.
Yeah, no,
I think everyone.
just a thought.
Just a minute, Mr. Deans.
Make a comment about Rob's comment about that new culvert.
Yeah.
He's dead right. I went up Downs Road about 3 or 4 days ago. And they were just, it was one way and they're working on the side, cleaning out. It blew me away how suddenly you get the rise up onto that new culvert. It's dangerous. On the downside, the culvert needs to be filled in, the road needs to be, it goes on up like that.
Mm.
And it was a 60k fine, but it's a 100k road.
Okay.
Someone's going to kill themselves on that. The bottom side of the culvert needs to be lifted up and smoothed out.
All right,
Thanks,
Yeah.
Something struck me the other day. We went up there.
I was going to make a comment, if I may, Evan, that we've got in the district a wealth of local knowledge. How do we catalogue that wealth of local knowledge and translate it into savings for the ratepayers by having sensible works done instead of work done that are based on models that aren't actually working?
well, I don't know if that's, I'm capable of answering that question. I don't know, but
I might have a crack at that.
good, thank you.
Look, I think what you've seen is there has been quite a reset of the way this council's approaching its
Yeah.
business with the community.
Yeah.
And I think that's been led really well by the councillors. I expect that this is going to be more of how we do things. It's evidence based and it's listening and with our communities, and so that's the shift I think you'll see.
Yeah.
I expect that you'll see a different approach to our long-term plan.
Mhm.
And you saw that come through the annual plan. That we're moving it. So I think that's what you're going to see.
Yeah.
All right,
good.
we've got one more public forum. Zoran, like to come up? Is it
Mr. Dean.
Mr. Deans? I heard this last week, so come along and yeah, could I just make a comment here? I heard this report, I presume the same one, at the council last week. You're submitting on behalf of the Colgate Residents Association, or is it
Glen Tunnel.
called Glen Tunnel?
So, but Glen Tunnel pilot study.
It's not part of the township committee or the, is it part of the township committee?
Well, Rory is on the.
I'm on the
community
Glen Tunnel
Glen
resident.
Tunnel
Oh,
residents,
okay.
yes.
Well, who's their member looking after that?
Me,
Oh.
but I've been away.
Yeah, you didn't hear about it because she's on holiday. All right, we've got lines of communication. Welcome to our meeting.
Thank you.
Is it Robert?
The Rory.
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 Yes, okay. And, right, so. Over to you.
Mr. Chair, members, councillor,
Oh.
and staff.
Sorry, Ellen was while I was away, sorry.
Thank you for letting us speak. It's really to brief you on the project I'm running, which should be of interest and hopefully of some use to the community. Rural health is a bit of a worry, if not a crisis at the moment. And as we have seen in Darfield and Leaston, when Health and New Zealand people came over, they're, to say mildly, tentative rather than enthusiastic about getting on with sorting out rural health. And I got worried that once they come and ask for or offer a consultation, things will be baked in, and they already showed that they were using old data and things like that. So I proposed to them that I would run a survey of residents in rural areas, so we preempt them being like working with old data and predetermining things, and they agreed to that. So we worked with them to define the questionnaire, which is quite simple. What's working well, what's not working well, and how do you see, what's your vision of rural health? And at about the same time, I met Mr. Deans in Glentannel, and there was enthusiasm on the part of the residents committee to run a pilot study or test the questionnaire within the community. So, Rory, you can.
Yes, because in Glentannel we have a email list of all the residents in the town. Specifically, we went out of our way to do that, so we can instead of putting stuff in letterboxes, which costs money and time, etc. An email thing. We were Siren. I just came across Siren. We took accidentally by chance, and mentioned the fact that we had a specific email list of all the residents. We decided to be a good place to start for the trial survey to see how it would go. So we sent the survey out to all the residents, and it was 86 residents plus 4 who were not on the email list. We put in letterboxes, and out of that, which is 90, out of those 90 residents, we got 16 replies.
Yeah.
16.
Yep, which is, I think, pretty good.
I thought it was terrible, but hell, this is pretty good, apparently.
No, it's
Not 16.
16.
16, 16.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Well,
It's considered good, and I produced a report which was reviewed by Health New Zealand, and they had some minor comments which I fixed. They were happy with it, so we're gonna roll that out now into Malvern and Ellesmere communities, and I thought you should know, and also if you could help me with some contacts with us residents committees. I've got some addresses or phone numbers. If I could maybe give you the link to the questionnaire, and then you can distribute it to the communities. And I've already asked Chief Executive if Council could also help promote it, and there was some interest there, and yet to work the detail. That would be appreciated.
all right. Well, can I just hold there for a minute? Councillor Berry, in many ways, the work's been started in the area by our inaugural meeting of the Melbourne, whatever it's called. Would you like to comment? Would you like to tell our meeting here and Simon and Rory where we're up to on that? And some of it are overlapping already on some of it, or we will be, but perhaps you can give us an update.
So given the fact that the Health New Zealand came out and did a consultation and wanting information on what's happening, what the needs are in the Darfield, Malvern area several months ago, 2 issues came out. That one, the thing that we can't do anything about is the shortage of allied health professionals. So we need to move forward acknowledging that constraint. What we can do something about is we can get back, and I like the idea of the survey, with information to Health New Zealand to better inform them, in my view, as to the information that they collected. The side issue is the Darfield Hospital. So the information that I have is that it's staffed for up to 10, I'm not too sure, I'll call them clients, but it might be patients in my day. and they provide palliative care, respite care, and the question mark is, should they also be providing convalescence? The issue is they've got the staffing for 10, but they've only had in the last 6 months 1 to 3, so there's 7 empty beds, which doesn't seem to be very good value. So trying to get information has been difficult. So a group of people, friends of Darfield Hospital and other people, the district nurses, met, formed a working group to try and progress what's happening in relation to Darfield Hospital. And they've requested through the official information bed occupancy rates at the Darfield Hospital, because the big concern in the community is that the District Health Board will let it run down and then come out and say, oh, we'd like to use it, but it's in a state of disrepair and we haven't got any money to repair it. And then the second one is the greater health needs in Darfield. So would be keen to receive the results of the survey and definitely help out and circulate it around and get a survey, because I think in relation to the health needs in Darfield and Malvern more generally, that's something that needs to go back to the Health New Zealand, and also the more focused one in relation to better utilisation of the Darfield Hospital, because the medical reasons seem to have been overcome, and it is staffed for up to 10 patients. And that's about the thing to say, well, why aren't there 10 patients there when we've got people going into places in Christchurch and Oxford for palliative care when they could be going to Darfield and also respite care.
All right, so we've got another meeting for that initial group on the September the
Can't remember the
25th?
yeah, towards the end of September.
the same day as this meeting in September. We'll have an update of some of the things we're talking about. We're just trying to concentrate on Melbourne. Your one's a bit bigger than that, but this is where it started. So anyway, does that help you? And I'm sure you can help us and we can help you. So
Yeah, totally. My interest is not focused on the hospital, but it's wider feedback to or feed into Health New Zealand, so they can start with on the right foot, so to speak, rather than guess. And then once the guess is baked in, we can't steer it that well as a community.
well, we're trying to get something to give them before they give us
Correct.
ultimatum.
Yeah, correct.
So we're all on the same book, really. All right, any discussions from any comments?
Yeah, if I may, I had written to both Simeon Brown and Matt Dursey after the Whedon's meeting, and got a response from both of them relating to Darfield Hospital, and also they've taken forward the idea of a mobile GP services clinic to gone to Canterbury Health for that. Would you like the copies of the letters responses?
Is that a copy I can take?
You can take that up and print something more if I.
Thank you. That's great.
All right, any further comments? Well, I think that covers it. You're up to
Thank
date
you.
where we are, and
Great.
thanks for coming along.
Thank
And we'll keep in touch.
Good with both of you. See you, Peter. He's got here with you.
I did send to Therese the report and
Coming out.
There, Robbie. We'll be talking to it shortly too.
Okay, I'll email you this.
We're very big, cool.
All right, we're in the general meeting now. Apologies, we've got one from Barry.
Got one.
But he is
from
present.
Tracy McLeod.
Oh, there he is. Yeah, Tracy McLeod. Yeah. No, that's all, is it? Apologies be received. I'll say aye.
Aye.
Yes, thank you. Now, identification of
Actually, sorry. Should we say Laurie Squires on there too? Because she was hoping to be here.
Laurie Squires, yeah.
Did you get a mover and a seconder for that?
I moved it.
Okay.
A seconder, please.
I can second.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Okay.
All those aye.
Aye.
Yes, carried, thank you. Identification of extraordinary business. Are there anyone's got anything there?
Hughes Forest.
Okay. Put that on we'll bring that up later in the meeting. I have one here that it shouldn't take long to do, but plan change 8 for ECAN, Environment Canterbury. I would just like to know if council putting a submission on that, and we can talk about that a bit later in the afternoon.
Mm.
All right. Any correspondence? No correspondence. We've heard from the public forum. Conflict of interest. If you
I don't know if the fact that
you're a neighbour.
I'm a neighbour down the road of Robbie's, I want to be able to help support that situation, but I'm like, I've had a little bit of flooding, like that my swale does end up full, but I'm not worried about that. I want to sort this because this alters that, so if no one has a problem with that, then
It's not a conflict of interest because you're not actually making a decision. But I think at the point in time when I bring back something further, ideally to the September meeting, and if there's any decisions for the board to go back to council,
where you
then
step
that
back,
may be
yeah.
where you need to step back.
okay, cool, 'cause I'd like to be part of it.
Can I lodge my conflict if you like? Cruise Properties own a block of land on Thwaites Road and between Thwaites and Scots and Plantation Road. Then we come right up to the corner of the pit that's one crane. And we used to own the block that tours have got now, so we know about the problem.
So I think those conflicts don't really materialise until we actually get to decision. So I think hold that conflict. I don't think we need to record that.
All right.
Cool.
And
And
we'll
if-
come
if
back
I-
to that.
And if I could have one removed, we've sold our commercial property in Rolleston, so the Charman investment one can be removed.
Cool. Thank you.
All right, item number 8, confirmation of minutes. They've been circulated and to fill the correct record.
I'd be happy to certify that they are.
Thank you.
For that.
You remove that be
Accepted.
signed.
Hmm.
So give a please.
Second.
Thank you. Thank you, Samantha. Any discussions? Any, before I put the resolution, any matters arising to be carried forward? Not added, not coming up in the all right, well, put the resolution all in favour, say aye. Aye. Means carried, thank you.
These are good.
Did we get a seconder for that?
Yes, Samantha.
Cool. Okay, sorry. Catching up. Sorry, you're going so fast today, boss.
Just keep making sure you get work.
Great. Good response.
I didn't realise you do the minutes as well.
No, I'm just ticking off, but
Oh.
you're going way too quick.
Oh,
for me
okay,
today.
sorry.
Thankfully, we've got the team here.
Yeah, well, that's good then. Actions from the previous meeting, we've covered that, have we?
No, not yet.
Not yet. All right, let's
I'll just take that as read. Happy to take any questions if there are any
from the previous meeting. Or, no.
on the action table.
I had one on page about the new tree planting to commemorate 10 years anniversary of Bitso. Is 10 years the right word too?
Yeah, I think
For
it
the
was
10
10-year
years
decade.
anniversary.
Indicate.
Yeah. So there were a couple of activities with Ubitsu. One was putting the plaque for the 25-year anniversary.
Yeah.
One was to move the tree that had died, which was the 10-year anniversary, which we moved, which is what this activity is related to.
Right.
Yes,
Yeah.
and they're both well in progress with council.
Nothing there.
John has a
No.
question.
John, sorry.
Yeah, I wonder whether the plant and the tree, rather than just keeping them open until we close, we could say that steps be taken, because it seems to me that really a price needs to be, wording needs to be agreed on the plant. A price needs to be obtained on getting the plant.
It's already done. It's going to be completed in a couple of months. So the work has been confirmed, the park's been ordered. It's just that we just needed to wait for spring to
Oh,
plant the
okay.
tree. So, so we do have an option just to remove these actions because they were like, they're well under progress now, and there is a end date. Yeah.
Maybe the status update could say, the planting in the park will be located in spring.
Right, I've got one comment on page 7 of the minutes when I expressed that the memorial plaque at Tussock Square needs replacing. And on that is record of the Boer War. Now, there's more than one Boer War. Now, that is, it's not a brick, it says in the minutes, brick thing, it's a piece of marble, slate or something, and it's hard to read. But in the meantime, I went and checked the cenotaph, and there is a Boer War one up there as well. So before we did anything with that, I think we need to talk to the local RSA and see if the one on the cenotaph and this one are a duplicate, or because of the two Boer Wars. So I would like to see a new plaque made when there's already one up at the cenotaph.
So I think the team just want to get a bit of what plaque are you, so it's the Boer War plaque, is it?
Yes.
Okay,
Boer
that's
War.
the guidance I think we need,
Yeah.
then we can then follow up with that, and
Yeah.
then I think that action might better sit with the board to go and contact the RSA if you're happy.
Okay, yeah, we can do that, yeah.
And then our team will go away and look at that specific plaque. If you determine that we don't need it because it's already there, then
Well, yes, one duff is enough.
Yeah.
But
gotcha.
and it's been plonked on afterwards because all the other plaques are metal ones, and this thing on the right hand is a piece of marble being tacked to it. All right, so we'll come back on that one, right?
Yeah.
Well, I'll come back on that one.
If we line up, and we don't need to necessarily maybe wait until the next meeting to resolve this, but if you let me know what you find out, I'll let you know what we find out, and then we can decide from there what appropriate action we can take, and maybe suggest we just email the board
Yep. All
with a
right.
bit of a summary.
Okay, so that's fine.
Just checking the team have got that action. Cool.
And do we need to remove the interim that's showing on all those things?
At the point in time it was.
Okay.
I'm happy to leave it there, but for future we will remove.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, so
So we just need I think we've made the changes. Everyone's comfortable with the changes to the action table.
oh, sorry.
Yes.
We don't have a move or a seconder for that, but I don't think we need it. So then we'll just make those and move on. My report.
The CEO, please. Yes.
Cool. So there is I guess there's a decision here and we are missing it as a recommendation. My apologies for that. And that we've also got interim in there. We will remove interim from this report. So the first one is around the community board, the executive committee levy, and the discussion as to whether or not Malvern Community Board wish to rejoin that LGNZ grouping, which gives you access into the community board connection. So I think maybe it's worth a while a conversation on that to start with, and then I can deal with the rest of the report.
It's fairly modest amount of $290, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, to me, it's no brainer. I mean, we're a community board, and I think we need to be able to have a national body we can either align with something or get some advice from or help if we need it. That's my view. I mean, anyone else got a
Yeah, I'd support the board joining it because while the council's a member of Local Government New Zealand, by joining the community board's executive, you get access to training workshops, you get access to news releases, updates on matters that are relevant to community boards, and it's great value for money.
All right. Any further comments?
I think it's beneficial as well to link to a national body and engage in established networks, especially as a new community board.
Yes.
Well, resolution from favor? You happy with that?
Are you happy?
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that. The more we can keep in contact with minded organisations, we can draw on their experience as well. And now that we're under the glare of a regional reorganisation, re-establishing those relationships, I think is a good move.
All right, thank you, Barry.
Yeah.
All right,
So if the recommendation is that the Melbourne Community Board rejoin the the national
Executive.
Yep. For the upcoming financial year 26-27.
that's right.
I move a seconder.
Make it.
Moved by Bex,
Second, what's your way with your
by
move?
John, all in favour, say aye.
Aye.
It's carried.
Thank you, and apologies for missed that.
All right,
In terms of the second part of my report, that spatial planning workshop. So there's been a couple of conversations about that. The team are just after a little bit of direction because we are doing the spatial plan, which is coming through the regional spatial planning pipeline of work. And at the same time, we're also doing the development of our long-term plan, which is going to be addressing, the infrastructure strategy, the financial strategy, and asset management. And it kind of brings in two pieces of work. Both are the long-term plan piece of work is probably happening a little bit ahead of the spatial planning piece of work. So it's just what does the board want to get connected into? You will be connected into both, but what is the workshop that you would like to get? And sorry, I missed this conversation last month, but
So can I
Second,
make a comment? Yeah. So the queries coming in from community was really based around the new development growth in Kirby and how council was planning widening the roads in general, which then led to the conversation around understand the future planning for infrastructure and asset management. So originally I thought that came under spatial planning, but I understand spatial planning, as you said, is more around how Selwyn grows and where development is expected and moving coordination of land use, which is interesting and good to know, but it's more about that long-term planning. So once you have your spatial plans in place, how does that translate into the long-term plans of infrastructure, widening the roads in Hoskins, for example, Hoskins Road Junction, and asset management in general?
does that help, Steve?
yeah, it does. I think for those watching, and I think for this board too, is that the spatial plan is at a district level and it is a bulk and location essentially based on population, based on expected growth, or based on where we think the available infrastructure can go. But it's at it's like at a big chunk level. And then what happens from that is that our long-term plan through our infrastructure strategy and through our asset management plans then start to take that general base location and starts to then bring it down into these are the bits and pieces that we need in our district to enable all of these things to grow. And this is when we likely are expecting it. And that will be from a 30-year view from infrastructure strategy into a 10-year view in our long-term plan with 3 years in detail. And so that works kind of underway now with our councillors. They're giving staff general direction about where we're going and how we're going to achieve this. And so this material will start to be formulated and finalised towards the end of this year, and that's what we then go out to consult with our communities with that level of detail, sort of around mid to late March or early April next year. So,
Well, can I just ask a question?
Yeah.
Is it something the board, is it more of a council decision-making process than the board? Am I right, Samantha? You want to know how it happens, so we as a board need to know.
cool.
So
Is it-
exactly, understanding the process of how you get to that long-term
Great.
planning, so we
Yeah.
can actually answer the questions on a community
Yeah,
perspective.
and I think it's a really valid and reasonable question. Actually, I think that's the benefit and that's the strength of this group. So I'm actually wondering, because John's been involved in a number of these the kind of high level workshops, but I wonder if over the next month or two that maybe John and I, as John's your representative, we work to sort of map out how we might bring the relationship between spatial planning and long-term infrastructure and capital planning come together as a way forward.
So when you term workshop, is it more an information session for us, or is it a forum for us to feedback as well?
I think it could
Into
be
the process.
both, and it might be workshops in the sense of one might be an overview of how we do this, and the second one might be more ahead of that consultation. This is what we're planning to do. How does this line up?
Yeah.
John, do you have any?
No, I think that's because the spatial planning is probably district-wide, as you say, doesn't have the specifics. But the long-term plan as we work through it. And I think that at this stage, we're just looking conceptually, we haven't got down to this level, but as we move down, and then there'll be general opportunity for the community also to feedback and say, well, this is the specifics.
So the third area was, sorry, if I just may, is around the developer's contribution. So I understand that developer's contribution is collected across Selwyn, and then it has to be used on capital projects. And so then, for example, in Kirwi, if there is a new development, then can developer's contribution be used, for example, to Tarsi or Hoskins Road? It might not be enough funds for the whole road, but maybe a portion of it. And what's the rules around that? So that, so that type of queries.
So that's cool. So I think what there might be a bit more of an information session we can bring back about development contributions and how they're applied. But that then kicks into more of that detail around the infrastructure strategy, and particularly the asset management planning to go. The resealing of Hoskins Road, for example, may not be up the list of all the other things that have to be funded or sorted within the area.
Totally.
And so I think what you're after is a bit of a relationship between development and what the development is driving, what our asset management plans are doing in response. And again, I think that's where the infrastructure strategy and that's where the long-term plan really bring all of those pieces together.
So it'll be really beneficial if that could be incorporated in the workshop.
And generally speaking, there's a misunderstanding about what capital contributions developers pay, what happens to them and how much they charge. And it's probably a good time to just clear the air of it.
And you'll be pleased to know that your councillors are really advocating for this as well, around getting that degree of clarity to understand what growth is paying for, and what's residual. How do we manage this? What other funding tools have we got, including the new initiatives from central government around the Going for Growth housing fund? So there's a number of new things and then a number of existing things that our team are trying to balance at the moment as we set up this new long-term plan.
Right.
My comment I was going to make, the spatial plan working 30 years out, which is fine, but if I look at the development around Rolleston, a lot of the developments that go ahead are actually developer-led or appear to be developer-led, and they are not working in a 30-year time zone. They're working on a 5-year time zone. And
probably 10 years.
Yeah, 10 years, but the where I'm trying to get my head around it is, if you look at the spatial plan for Darfield and the areas that are set aside for commercial development, industrial development, where we can put new houses and stuff like that, it seems to me that looking at it, the changes can be put in effect by developers through the fast track project, particularly, that basically circumvent any of the council planning. And it worries me that we're going to have a major change in the appearance of this village and other villages, that we actually lose a lot of control over. How do we tie all that in with the potential damage that could happen through these fast track subdivision applications.
Don't know.
I mean, looking at that big one under fast track at Rolleston at the moment, I mean, that's a huge amount of houses.
Well,
How do you cope with that? And who's going to use the DCs? Because you know, if you look at Pines, it was set up to look after Rolleston. It wasn't established to take the wastewater and sewage from Lincoln and Leaston and Darfield and Kilwee, West Melbourne, and it hasn't got the room to actually expand a whole lot more. How do we rejig the planning so the spatial planning works
Well, put it this way.
for the residents?
The rules have changed.
Yeah.
And with change, with rules, we have to change.
Yes.
So, and council, in my view, are learning to how to adapt to these new rules.
Yeah.
And if you read today's press, the article about the Carter subdivision of Hoka, the protesters, well, the comments saying the fast track was never designed for residential development.
Yes.
More infrastructure, major items. So who knows? I think we've got to keep all that in mind and still plan ahead.
Yeah.
So it's a bit of a mission.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the answer's simple, that it's a central government problem. The elections are coming up in November, so think hard and long about who you want to vote. Do you want more of this imposed subdivision and so on, more of this fast track, more of this amalgamation legislation, or do you want to give someone else a shot and see what they've got to say?
Well, we're getting into politics now.
I left that comment, John.
Yeah.
Done well there.
I'll move on, please.
Look, I'm happy to take the rest of my report as read. You'll see that there is a reasonable section there around the Kia question, and both in terms of we're waiting for the proposal, but here is what we would need to do. These were the steps we would take if we needed to set in a bylaw, and just happy to take any further questions on my report, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Do we need NCB support for this bylaw?
For the what?
Well, I think until we've received the request, there's
Oh, I see.
there's
Quite-
more.
sorry.
Quite clearly here,
Yeah.
we're asking the Kia Incentive Conservation Trust to come back with a question. And Barry, you're on that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in the first instance, what we were looking for was what sort of process do we have to go through, and that's been told in here now, and the Care Conservation Trust now will sit down and do exactly what that Steve, as you suggested, is put together a proposal, and then we can bring that to the board and say, do you support our proposal? And then ultimately it'll go to council and regulatory to get to pass whatever tests it needs to pass. So I think we've got a way forward now. Thank you for that, Steve.
And Barry, I sent a very two-line email to the secretary to say that with work in progress. So
yeah,
stop that. But
it's all good.
Okay, thank you. Moving on.
Just to move and second to accept my report, Mr. Chair.
Have we finished discussing it? Or we?
Well,
I was going
I'm going to ask so.
could you just the West Melbourne issue about is that clear to everybody?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, let's have it move in a second, please. Move second.
No,
Move,
we've seconded it.
move, Mr. Samantha.
Yeah, I'm happy to second it.
Yes, second it. Any further discussion? All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
It's carried. Thank you. Yeah.
Your report, Mr. Chair.
That came from Creighton. Let's have a look at what I said.
Must be aware that I wiped up. I heard you say extraordinary business, but I didn't hear you say general, and I missed out Laurie's right stuff. So whether I do it,
well, my report is there. I make my comments about the Greendale Hall because I'm more associated with the area and more understand about it. The other things are all there, and I'm happy to move it be received. Any other comments or ask me, please? What I did think was the report because of the bad weather this back in the beginning of the month was very excellent, and although we spared it, as Robbie said, we didn't get the rain that could have come, but they were good from the team. And Darfield caps are now selling, and we've ordered another lot.
Yes, we've got another lot ordered, and yeah, very, Donna actually rang us. It's actually was thrilled with the response to the Malvern News article, and thank the Malvern News. I'd like to report my thanks for them for not only putting an article in, plus an ad for us at no charge, which is most appreciated. So, yeah.
Oh, that's good. All right, so I've got my report. Do you have a second, please? Second, Councillor Perry, all in favour, say aye. Right. Now, Bex, your one here, and you can.
Yeah. Should I speak to about Laurie's
Certainly.
briefly? I apologise, and under general business, I just missed that part coming up. I spoke to Laurie Squire. She wanted to actually speak today, but she wasn't well enough to. She just had concerns and wanted to ask him a couple of questions. First about, and it's all to do with Horata Scout Den. So I'm happy to send this on to Bevo, etc. But has the Scout Den been formally transferred to Selwyn District Council yet? If it hasn't, what is holding the procedure up? Does the Horata Community Trust have any say in how it should be used? Can the Horata Community Trust currently use it when they have events? When they do use it, do they pay and to whom? And how did they obtain the key to the den? And who is paying for that electricity that is being used to run like the children's rides during the event? Because I know that there's also the Pony Club are looking at trying to use it. So I think the Horata Trust are trying to work in with that. And she just says, I've done research on this and have a file from Scouting New Zealand going back for 2 years up until the elections. But she hasn't been in contact with the Horata Community Trust as it's not the greatest relationship. She just wants to know what's actually going on with
So
it.
if you're happy to send those questions
Yep.
through to the team,
Yep.
We'll send that off to our property team for an update, and I can either get in touch directly with Laurie through you, Bex,
Yes.
and we'll come back with a bit of a response.
And I also know Peter. He's quite intrigued about the property too. So there's a few
So
people
we come back
that
to
are
you with the
asking.
answers,
Yeah,
and then you can
brilliant.
distribute into the community.
Wonderful. So I'll first take my monthly report when the board has received for information. And first of all, I just want to thank the board and John for everything they did while I was away on behalf of me and the community. And I know that you all put in a few extra hours helping up that. Just comment that I loved Alan's board report and the deep dive you did into the halls, and thoroughly enjoyed that.
Thanks, Lee, for that. Thank you.
And so it's the basics of it. Green Tunnel. 2 weeks after they laid the rubber road, I reached out to the council and asked them to replace the speed bumps that were there, and they only got replaced a few weeks ago. So that's finally redone. And Green Tunnel organising with ECAN. We had ECAN come and talk to us, and they're going to link in with Whitecliffs and Colgate to have a meeting to understand the river a wee bit more and the contamination of that. Sheffield, well, Waddington had the success story of their road is now going to be a little bit like Burnham with the flashing lights and everything, and so that's all good. And the turn off, but we're still to hear back with anything from Sheffield around the pie shop and whether that's going to make a difference. So my main time, to be honest, has been working with Horata lately. So I spent quite a bit of time with Peter Snook that was here. He took me down Duncan's Road, which is the road that he was talking about at the last board meeting that he came to, and how everyone was avoiding Downs Road, and they were coming round and coming down Duncan's. They've got to go through a ford, and part of it is a paper road. Now, it used to get once a year, the council used to come in and grade it. There's a big 3 metre by 3 metre, big circle diameter, that is just a big hole on the middle of the road. So all the cars are going on the outside. So I'll work on trying to get that graded or something. It's going to need more than grading. It's going to need a top up where this hole is, because no one can get down that. So I'll be working on that.
Have you sent in a snapseed solve on that to our roading team?
No, I will. I thought it's
Yeah.
well bigger than a snapshot solve, I thought, but
Okay.
if you want me, I'll do
Well,
it that
that
way.
gets it straight to the
Cool,
people, but let me know once you've done that.
cool, because I was wondering if anything had happened since the last meeting over that, so I just double checking. And I know that some of the residents met with Mark Andrews. We were talking about that before with Robbie, and so I spent a few hours with Robbie talking about what was going on. So with the culverts, if we talked about Thwaites Road before, and we talked about Downs Road, they're actually basically the same road that has Hororata Road right in the middle. So it's basically an intersection from one to the other. So just when they talk about those two roads, so you're aware. Basically, both situations, the council have done the culverts, but only 100 metres or so away are the culverts that actually do flood, not the ones that have. So with the flood modelling's been wrong, and they believe they ran one way when they actually run another way, which is maybe what's caused a lot of the issues. So we'll get on to that. I spent a good few hours with Chris Thwaites as well. They've had 160 years on that farm, his family. So but as Robbie was saying, since it's become a bit more dairy, maybe that's why things have changed a little bit there. Most very good. 30% of the rain comes down his property. Jolly Jack's Creek, they keep talking about. Basically, on Hororata Road is Jolly Jack's Creek. But Happy Jack's, sorry, Happy Jack's, I keep saying it wrong, sorry. Happy Jack's Creek, thank you for fixing that there, Evan. Going down to Plantation Road. So the section there is actually quite a long distance. Now, I know there is mudfish. Now, by solving this situation in this one area, this would possibly fix half the flooding that's actually being caused into Hororata. Now, I know mudfish are a big thing, and they have been out and they've found the mudfish. I think they found 30 while they were there. So there's got to be a way that he's happy to do the work himself with his own digger, but if we could have someone from council that even pick up the fish and put them on the other side of where it comes in, and we'll just put up a thing briefly where water can come through, but the fish can't, just for a period of a week, so he can dig that out. But as long as we can just relocate, then the fish can come back in or something like that. That would just solve everything on that side of things.
The Thwaites at least that block from council for about 40 years.
They have, and
so it's not just a new
thing. And from where Plantation Road reaches, the next farmer on took it under his own skin just to do the same thing without, so it's already ready to run. It's the water there. Now Chris was happy to come to our September meeting, and I've asked Mark Andrews if he can come too, because he couldn't come to today's one. Basically, the stormwater goes down to the drinking water situation. So if we can get on top of the stormwater, every single time we have a rain, we have got they basically turn the water off in Hororata. So you hope you've got enough water in your tank. Some people have got issues. Vanessa, who's talked previously at our board meetings, she's got a wetback. So what that means is every time the council turn off the water, she's terrified to put her fire on in case she runs out of water and she burns her whole water cylinder out. So for 3 days, she had no heat in her house while we had the stop water for those 4 days just recently. So it does affect, and then when they realise that no one's got water anymore, they turn the water back on, and we're on boil water notice. So putting up this for another 3 years there's got to be solutions. If we can sort out the stormwater, then hopefully the drinking water will follow.
Can I just get this?
Go for gold.
I don't think the stormwater that Robbie's talking about has anything to do with drinking water.
You don't?
No, because it all comes from the triacrid. Hororata supply comes from triacrid.
So there's more to be done.
It's and I think what's his name? He's told us about that. The water gets dirty up there.
I'd love someone to take me for a drive,
right,
and show me, because I don't know how this all works, and that's why I'm struggling. If you could do that.
This is not a criticism.
No, I know, but I need to understand.
The water reservoir and intake is in the triacrid. And there's been work done there and when it rains up there, it just gets heavy rain and the water gets dirty. So there's two issues here. There's the local flooding and
Yes.
there's the water.
So I'll be working on both of those over the next few months so that I'm,
So anything to do with the drinking water.
yeah,
And the boil water.
it will be with
Salem
Salem water, I understand that.
And I know the team are re-looking at their model around the flooding. Not only here, but district-wide, there's a lot of work going into that flood modelling at the moment.
But we're the only ones that are getting the stop waters and all that, aren't we?
No, you're not, Bex. There are other areas that are getting boil water notices when we have heavy rainfall and high turbidity at the intakes of those schemes.
Okay, thank you for that. Moving on from that, tomorrow I have a verbal submission for the Horata Road speed limit. We were disappointed with a lot of the submissions coming in, really, and I know Barry will be too for Arthur's Pass. There was only so many submissions that came in, and on average, like there'd be maybe 16 and 8 were against them, sort of thing. So 16 were for, and roughly on a few of them. Now, unfortunately, with being away, I would have hit it a wee bit harder if I'd been here and knocked on a few more doors and got people to put in their own views a wee bit more and had more feedback. So I'll be submitting tomorrow verbally, and if anyone, I'll be submitting on behalf of myself rather than the board, because everyone's got different areas that affect them. So that's tomorrow at 2:45. But
Is that at council?
that's at council. And the last thing is just that I don't know if I said last time with the grotto we ended up with $1,500 funding from Fonterra. So thank you to them. That's it.
Can I just? I don't think Chris Thwaite is 160 years old.
No,
No.
the family farm. He said we've been on this farm for
but we just need to-
160 years.
We just need to change the wording slightly.
Yes, he sounds like he's rather old.
He sounds
No,
like.
Did I not say his family farm?
I knew.
No, you said.
I knew what you were talking about.
Okay.
Just being pedantic.
Okay, his family have been on that farm for 160 years, and he's young.
And it's dairy support up there. It's not dairy farming.
Not sure what. Yeah,
It's dairy support.
I just heard Robbie say about the dairy side of it.
Well, I got a funny feeling that it's Ensco stop grazing up there as well. So it's
Definitely Ensco cars going in
yeah,
there.
no, it's not dairy. It's not a dairy farm. It's dairy support and a fattening farm for Ensco beef.
So
But I
he'll-
mean, the same thing happens. I mean, I'm not quite sure what is any worse now than it was before.
I know.
Anyway, thank you, Bex, for that, and you did a good job with Fonterra. That's a great help for the annual event this year. Any questions from board members? John?
Yeah,
What did
I think that one of the issues is that there was plenty of consultation packages handed out to the Horata Residents Association. And I suppose it's just a fact of life that
Yes.
I myself in Darfield handed out 100 by going door to door and got about 3 people replied.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
Well, that's no further.
No.
You moved, have you?
Oh, I moved that's been read.
And
Accepted.
I can second.
seconded by Samantha. No further questions. All in favour, say aye. Aye. Against, carried. Thank you. Barry's next, is it? Barry's one
Yeah,
next?
so I'd just only like to comment on the two general things under general business in there. One was the Beatty River realignment. Back in January, we had quite a big scare out, and so between working through with SDC and CORD and ECAN, about 4 weeks ago, there was a 20-ton digger appeared up there, and he stayed there for about 3 weeks, and he's moved the river pretty much right across the riverbed to the other side, which is exactly what we were looking for. So I really appreciate the way that our staff and CORD worked through that process to get that good result up there. And the other one is the mobile library service. Those little communities really do depend on that library service, and we haven't had any mobile libraries for like 6 months, so since January, and I understand it's being resumed maybe in September, but I'd like to have something back from the ELT about what are the constraints to delivering that service, and when is that likely to happen?
Yeah, so I'm just looking at the elected member queries the sheet that we run, and I think we're expecting a response back by about the 30th of July, Barry.
Cool.
So should be
Yeah.
next week. I think you'll hear from Denise and the team.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay.
So I'd like to just move my report for submission.
Can I just ask a point, Barry, the insurance for the White Cliffs
Oh,
hall?
yeah, I got a response back from Denise today or yesterday. So the answer was yes, but not quite. Because it's a community-owned facility, that hall, that it's not covered by council. So, but the suggestion was to apply for a grant in the coming around, and in terms of community grants, to try and cover off the insurance. So I forwarded that through to the White Cliffs Residents Association.
Thank you. All
Thank
right.
you. Thanks, Denise, for the timely reply.
Any other comments?
Nope, that's good.
You moved it, Barry?
Yes, I'll move that.
Second,
Happy seeing that.
second, Alan, thank you. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Carrie. Aye, thank you, Carrie. Alan, your one.
I'll take my report as read. Within that, I had a discussion with Steve yesterday about the Goima request, and it clarified a lot of my puzzlement up. So I still have a concern that we need to be able to identify how much rates money is being collected for each hall, so that we can, like the issue was when we got the financials for the reports, snapshots for Sheffield and Springfield Hall, the only income shown was revenue that had been collected from each hire of the hall. There was no revenue showing how much had come in from rates, and council aren't able to identify that easily. And I'm just wondering if we can find a mechanism so that people can identify which hall catchment they identify with. And as mentioned to Evan before, a person living in Charing Cross might actually identify with the recreation centre in Dartford rather than Greendale Hall, which is closer. So if we could do that, then at least council should be able to track where the hall revenue is coming from. So that if people say, you know, why don't we have any income there? You've got that paper attached that I wrote on.
Ellen, if I just responded, I think there's probably a couple of things there. One is councillors will be looking at the council's revenue and financing policy, and that basically determines how we gather rates for a range of things across the district. And I know community halls is a really important subject for the community for us to do, right?
Yeah.
And so I think what you could rely on is your colleague next to you representing this as it goes through the development of not only that policy, but also the activity management plans that oversee all the community facilities. The second thing is, after our conversation yesterday, I went and had a chat to a couple of the team to go, can we identify how many rating units are within a certain distance from each of these community halls? And I've got some information there. So I'll share that after the meeting with the board. So you get a sense of, you know, some halls have a small rating base and other halls and community spaces have multiple thousands of rating bases. And so it's a portion. So it might help spark and continue this thinking about what is the ideal operating model for our community halls across the district and within the school.
Yeah, that would be appreciated, Steve. And I do appreciate your work on the deep dive. It's been magic. And the feedback I got from particularly the guys, the people up at Springfield, were absolutely delighted that you're so interested in helping their little community out. That's just about make you an honorary Springfield resident, as you've biked up there before.
Could I just comment? Dartford Residents Association are looking at coming up with a brand name for Dartford, and both of us at the meeting the night, Samantha turned up too. So that's in progress, and it's going to be a workshop on it. In conjunction with the annual general meeting, which is on the 25th of August. There's going to be a general meeting, and then there's going to be a session about a brand.
Mm.
Brand.
Mm.
We've got someone coming to talk about it, and see what comes up from there. Great.
Yeah. They have got the flags up in Darfield, which you'll see now, and they were able to. We've actually used the same logo of the Toolies range on the caps on those, so I managed to sort of sneak that into there. But it was accepted, and that's what they've run with, so I'm happy with that. But the brand is far more than just a slogan, and there's a lot of stuff that has to build in behind it. So this workshop would be good value, and I think it's a good initiative on the part of the DRA. Going back to the collaborative model running our community halls, again, thanks Steve for the input on this, and he's been magic with that. It's been interesting to discuss it with the residents, and the feedback I got was they don't want to own the halls themselves. They're quite happy for council to own them and do the all the heavy lifting, but they want a better way of handling the bookings that make the halls affordable for them to use. And one guy, chap up at Springfield, commented about a $500 potential hire fee to have his birthday party in a local hall and said it was ridiculous. Other than that, I would like to, other than the item of general business, which is the same when Evan's been wants to bring up on scheme change 8, I would like to consider my report discussed.
Right, you've moved it.
I'd like to move that if it would be accepted.
Happy to second it.
Any further questions? Oh, okay, I'll put the resolution. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Against, carried. Samantha,
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
I'll just take him at the time. The page right.
I move my board report is received, please. And I will assume that my board report has been read, and I just have a few items to raise. One is regarding a request to council for your support regarding the traffic safety concern on the corner of intersection of Courtney and Hoskins Road. With the new development that will continue for the next 3 years, there is an issue with the road and the need to widen that road, and that the intersection is not quite wide enough for a heavy vehicle to pass with a car safely, and the car has to stop a few meters before the intersection. So that was sent through the query database twice, but I have yet to understand and have a resolution or feedback from council on that. And I guess we've already talked, so that sort of led to the wider conversation around understanding long-term planning in general. If there was going to be a new subdivision that's planned for and the spatial plans, then where was the plan for widening the road and the roading infrastructure? Should that have come first or second? So we'll cover that off in the workshop. Thirdly, just with respect to the query database, I just would like to understand if there's opportunities to improve the query database. I just find that I totally understand the need for the structure and channeling of communications, but I would really prefer when the query goes through the database to have a person to speak to at the other end, so that I can just explain the query and just resolve any misunderstandings that could happen, which has happened in the last few sort of correspondence, and I feel like that might be a faster response time. I'm happy to have a separate meeting on that so it doesn't hold the board up. Would that be okay to do?
Yeah. I had one question that you probably already jumping up and down about it, but there's a new hill in Kirwee. I don't know if you spotted it. It's just before the intersection there. It's got a hole on this side and quite a big lump about that high of a rather large pothole that's been there for some months. Is there any chance if we can get that pothole? I know it's state highway.
Is it right in the middle beside the hotel corner?
Yeah, just before you get to the corner,
yeah.
And people are driving out and crossing the centre line to actually miss the pothole because it's so big, and then you've got the uplift is probably about a foot high, And you'd be loath to someone new to the district driving through, or visitor coming through at night and hitting that in the dark, because it's going to cause an accident, and it's been there for months.
Have your snap sim solved it?
I believe it has.
This
yeah.
will be with the NZTA.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
This is
Okay, again, Snapseed sold it, let me know when you've done it and let me then follow up.
Yeah. It's quite you just about go skiing down it, so.
No, I think they're aware of it because somebody's like put a highlighter
Yeah.
right around it.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just a
Okay.
question of when
Okay.
will it be
Right.
fixed? Yeah.
Yeah.
Then thirdly, it's just the awards. So the nominations for awards will close on the 28th of August. So I'm wanting to book in a time with the MCB for us to review all the nominations for the awards. Is there a date that we can agree on to have a Teams meeting and look through the nomination review?
Well, I'm sure there is a date, but we've got time to do that, haven't we? Doesn't need to be done right now necessarily.
No, but it'll be good to have a date so we can plan well in advance for people's busy lives.
so the first week in September's Queen's birthday weekend is. I've just got Queen written down, oh, no, so it's something I'm going to. Even that
could
first
do-
week, you think after they've come in on the 28th?
Yeah, so the next week, first Thursday of September.
What has everyone?
Well, we've got on September, we've got our board meeting, and we've got something else.
That's the 24th.
We've got the meeting before that. We're going to have the Darfield Residents Association, so we'll be that day.
That
out
would be
that day,
that would
So-
be the end of August.
at the end of August, yes.
So even that first week, because yeah,
How about Thursday, the 3rd of September?
What day is that?
it's
Thursday, the 3rd of September.
Well, let's get to the limits. It
Yeah.
sounds all right.
Yep, cool,
A 3 o'clock meeting, is that good?
perfect.
Teams meeting.
A Teams meeting, if that's okay.
3rd of the 9th, 3 p.m.
Cool. If there's no further questions, then I'll move my board report be accepted, please.
Thank you.
I'll second it. Oh, yeah.
So you, Bex, second it.
Yes.
All right, no further discussion. I'll put the resolution. All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Councillor Berry.
Yes, thank you. I'm happy to take the report as read. The safest speeds in relation to the state highways are still with the NZTA board, pending, apart from the one at Waddington, which was the variable speed limit. And as you can see, the submitters were pretty evenly divided between 30% supporting a reduction, 30% opposed, and 30% having no view. Barry, do you have any view in relation to Article cuts?
He's smiling.
Other than I'm dumbfounded, because everybody you talk to up there says all those trucks and things go through the blooming village too fast. So I'm really dumbfounded that we had 12 opposed.
Yeah, no. Okay, there's not too much that we can do about that.
No.
A lot of the opposed, though, of course, were people outside the area, of course. So
Yeah, but from the deep dive that I've done, if you have a look at Hororata Road,
yeah,
13 supported and 6 opposed within, whereas at Arthur's Pass, 12 of the residents supported and 12 of the residents opposed. So it's yeah, and again, the numbers aren't great, but we'll work through that, and I believe that that's sort of, there's people speaking, as Beck said, tomorrow. The one thing I would do is just draw your attention, sorry here, can't multitask. The AA service centre for driver's licenses in Rolleston, there was someone who raised the issue with me earlier, a couple of weeks ago, about the fact that they'd travelled all the way from Darfield to Rolleston, got there about 4:20, and I know the information is signposted, etc., but that doesn't always mean that gets the message across. And then at 4:30, this person said, hard luck, closing, no further applications. So the person was 2 back in the queue and had to then hop in the car and go all the way back to Darfield. But I've got a response from the AA, which I'll take, is that due to NZTA requirements, it's an actual application needed to book the learner's test, which also involves taking the applicant's photo and an eyesight test and some further paperwork. NZTA have advised us today, and I received this about 5 minutes ago, that they will not be approving Darfield as a site for the AA to attend, as its closeness to Rolleston AA site. We have had 2 visits to Darfield last year, organised by the Selwyn District Council as special visits, and only 3 people attended over the 2 days. So again, I think we come back to that dilemma that if a service is put on and people don't use it, if consultation goes out and people don't respond, it does hamstring the process. Otherwise, the community halls is progressing well, and from the discussions that I've had with the council, the community views are being listened to, and it shouldn't be too far away when and this is my interpretation, when council will be formulating this is a possible model or models, and then going back out just to confirm what people think about that. So that's all I've got to say, but happy to answer any questions. And I mentioned the health group working on the hospital usage and also the greater health needs.
Yeah, John, in the safer speech for Selwyn, and I know it couldn't be included because the speed limit changes that were being looked at related to the council's position as the road controlling authority. But I had put raised the issue a couple of meetings ago in relation to the residents of Springfield, that they'd like to have a 70k zone either end of the village to slow traffic coming down, and I prepared that map. I know it's not included in here for discussion, but is it possible that we can ask council to escalate that to the NZTA? Because while I have contacted James Cable, back in April, we've not had the courtesy of a response.
My response to that would be it's really a matter of the Springfield Residents Association making their own submission to NZTA.
Yeah.
I don't see that. I know it's all very good, but I think it's just duplicating it, putting it through the council.
Yeah.
And maybe an option would be that once the Springfield Residents Association have prepared their submission, they could send a copy to the board could consider it and endorse it. And I think that would be a more localistic response rather than asking council.
They just asked me to raise it because they brought it up to bring to the MCB, which we did.
I think Councillor Berry's right. If it comes to the board endorse it, push it on. We've had good response from that meeting with Cable and his team here, even though he hadn't answered your letter. I mean, the work in progress with Waddington and
yeah,
the other ones.
Yeah.
We've had some success.
Yes.
So I think we can.
Not denying it. I'm just saying it wasn't on that list there, and it's something
I'm sure we get back on. We've got a bit of a case history now. So,
yes.
So.
And the reason it wasn't on that list is because that's a consultation process that started by the council for local council owned roads.
Yes, which I explained. If raise that. to realise it. Yeah.
Councillor Berry, I'm interested to know about the rubber road. And I see who the award was from, the Trucking Association, or what's the name to that effect. Can I ask, to my way of thinking, I'm a more practical guy than some of them, but that road is not on the highway. It's in the domain, isn't it?
Yes.
Right. I like to see that, that's the trial one. I like to see a chunk of highway. Look, there's that many holes and potholes on the way to Christchurch. You can go anywhere and put 500 metres down and see if it works.
My understanding.
It's under real commercial conditions.
My understanding is that maybe the chief executive can sort of provide a more informed opinion that the trial was taken on a section that got reasonable, however you define it, use to see how it went, rather than putting it on a high use and then having it not perform.
All right, well,
Yeah, you're absolutely right. It is a trial. And as we actually see the benefits of the trial pan out over the coming seasons that it's been through, we'll then make some value judgments on where else and where can we best redeploy this. I note your comment around the highways. I think what council can control is the local roading network, and we might look at targeting that. I know the team are looking at this. Like, the reason we're doing the trial is we think it will be more cost effective for the longer term because it's lower maintenance, and it also produces all of these other benefits too around noise, and performance. So, look, I think the team are onto that. They're aware of it. It's just we've got to make sure it actually works in our conditions.
but what I'm was it come from Hibbs? Did they decide they'd do it as a advertising campaign for themselves, or did it come from council in conjunction with Hibbs?
Look, I think it's a partnership.
Okay.
Because you've also got not just Hibbs who are laying it, but the people who've developed this product as well. So is it a true partnership? We've got an opportunity. We've got a council who's prepared to trial some of these initiatives. We think there's a cost saving here for the future. And we've got the location, I think, about right, because it's not a straight road, it's turned, so we'll just see. But yeah, it's
All right, well, I just brought it up because I think the Trucking Association would like to see just where it was and how much traffic got on it. But anyway,
if the association wants to let us know where they think it could be best trialled on a local road, I'm happy to take that feedback on board for now.
We could kill two birds with one stone and seal the remainder of Wards Road with it, Evan.
well,
It's a busy road, isn't it?
no.
Yeah, I'm with you, Alan. I'm with you. It's what they've done is they've put that trial in what I would regard as a very gentle traffic flow with bugger all scuffing, turning, braking, and thirdly, and certainly no 60-ton blooming combination unit. So do 500 metres of Wards Road and widen it by another metre either side while you're at it, and then you'll have something that you can hang your hat on. But right now, I don't think I think it's only playing at a trial.
Yeah, we were talking about Barry, the unsealed section of Wards Road that we'd mooted as a potential heavy traffic bypass for Darfield.
Yeah, I know, but I'll be looking at a bit of the stuff that's buggered already and needs a decent hurry up.
All right, well, we'll come back.
Is John's
The local people might come back
Are you
with
still going?
a site.
Are you still going with your report?
Yeah.
Oh, no, I finished.
All right.
Has it been received? I don't think
I
I've
was
seconded
going to say, I moved that it's been
Sorry.
received.
I'm happy to
Sorry,
do that.
Chair.
Good. Thank you.
I'll be happy to do
All right,
that.
I'm
you've
happy
moved
to
your
second
second.
it.
Any further?
Sorry.
No
further comments? All vote aye.
Aye.
Yes.
Can I just make a flippant comment about that? When there's any water issues at all, you get like Selwyn Water will send you an email, and it's beautiful and it's got all this information about what they're doing and that, and then you'll get another email from Selwyn District Council as well saying the same thing. So there seems to be double ups going on, just to,
All right.
but it's always just a little bit.
All right. The next item is a financial report. and that's page 72 of the agenda.
Happy to take the report as read.
You can raise that.
I've got a question that, perhaps I could. This is for the whole year of the board ending June. Now, on page 77, there's a series of council wages being charged to the board. You see that then? And we talked about it at the last community board member meeting, that council Berry's wages would charge the board in June. But I just wonder if they have been there, the board has operated at not 114,000 costs, it says 20,000. And does that mean the board can go into the financial year we're in now with a $20,000 credit?
That will have been accounted for in the what's left in your reserves. And so any unspent money from the previous financial year ends up in the reserves for the current financial year.
But council staff have got to take those costs out before we've got to make sure it's done. Because, the last one in there is, where is it, February, council wages, October, December, but there's probably more. I just picked those out of a bit of a quick.
So we've end of financial year, we've shut off the financial year, I'd say about a week and a half ago, in terms of shutting off the previous 25-26 financial year. The team are doing now beginning the final reconciliation of all the financial year budgets, and once we've got a draft position, then I'll come back to you and let you know what the full financial picture is. And then if there are any questions at that point, I'm happy for the board to raise those then. But certainly we're in now the final approval process and the final reconciliation process.
So is it possible to get a printout of the reversed entries? Because it seems to me that the entry for the rock gas that goes to the Rakaia shouldn't really be.
Yeah.
So that $109.55 should go correctly, but it's already come out of the Malvern Community Board. So I think Evan's right that there should be about $20,000 in credits. And it's good that you take it back to the council pool, but maybe once we've identified what the amount of money is, that can be lawfully put through to a credit.
Yeah. No, that should all these monies should all stay within your budget. Yeah, absolutely.
That appears to have gone out twice, because you've got AP rock gas for the 109.55, then two underneath it, you've got the gas rock miscode to ACC levy, but it shows it coming out again. So how do we?
If you want to give me your highlighted questions,
Okay.
And apologies again, I don't know if you raised this in this detail at the last meeting.
We did one on Berry's one.
Right.
But I just read my.
Cool.
And
So-
it could be 10 of them for I know.
Okay. So if you run your eye over it, let me know the queries you've got. I'll go away and work with the team and ensure that we do the right reverse or leave it in there and with an explanation of why.
Legend.
For ahead of the next meeting, so that when you do get the next meeting, which should be close to a final draft of your budget position year end and the starting point for this year.
And the annotated details from the 1st of July are more likely to be a little bit more spot on.
More likely to be spot on, John. Yes.
All right, now, we now finished with your report. We have. Okay, now we're on to general business.
I'll move that the financial reports be accepted.
Thank you.
I'll take it.
All in favour, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. General business now?
Yeah, we've got two items, McHugh's Forest and Plan Change 8.
Oh, sorry, I thought we'd actually done general business earlier on. Sorry, and I've missed it.
We've
Sorry.
taken care of that.
Plan change 8. I just want to know that I've got a note of it in my own capacity as a shareholder of the company. But plan change 8 is quite interesting. It's about changing what you can do with your, once you've got water consented. But it stipulates you can't bottle it and sell it overseas. But I just wonder, is council doing this for the benefit, is the council putting a submission into this for the closes on the 4th of August?
Look, I've asked the question of the team,
Yeah.
and I'm awaiting a response.
Oh, you've up to that,
Whilst you were talking at the start, I've said, "Oh, we're putting a submission on this."
right? Well, I mean, we'll put it this way. We're a private landowner and we've been asked to put a submission in. And chap was on holiday in Spain or somewhere and sent it back to me, said, "I'm dead, you do it, I'm too busy." So,
Maybe,
Yeah.
given any potential conflicts, board member Peacock, if may accept the challenge of drafting a submission to the plan change and then circulating it to the board and for their approval, and then a submission on plan change 8 could go to Environment Canterbury from the board.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a vested interest in it because I have put a petition through to government to have a law change to allow, where water is commercially extracted for export, that local councils could charge a levy on any water crossing the border, and use that money, because at the moment it's not taxed by government, and the mainly overseas owned companies who export water out of New Zealand, as per Ron Ash's book, are making an awful lot of money out of it. This is an area that's untapped potential that we could, and we were talking about the Hawke's Bay, 90 truckloads a week going out through the Napier Wharf, $46 million roughly a year, that could have been generated towards local body costs without actually tapping rates and asking for government for any money. But it just seems very strange that ECAN are doing that at the same time.
okay, ECAN are changing the, so you'll take up the challenge.
I'm more than happy to do that.
Thank you very much.
And I must also confirm I've already written to Nicola Grigg about it as well. So
So is it, my suggestion would be that if it was okay with you, Alan, that if you were to circulate it to the board by the 30th of July,
yeah,
and then the board were to have a look at it and get back to you by morning tea on the 3rd of August, and then you could then collate it and get it away.
Yeah.
At that time, so will suits everybody.
Before I say yes, is everyone comfortable with me making a submission in relation
That's
to
all I'm asking.
seeking a law change through central government?
I'd love to see it happen, to be honest.
I think it's the right move.
Sorry.
ECAN are,
Is that two things? Are you saying? One, I was thinking of submission to ECAN for plan change 8.
Yes.
And then are you saying a submission to central government as well?
No.
No.
I've done the petition for central government, and I've asked Nicola Grigg to take it forward. Plan change 8, basically, if that came in before government looked at changing the rules, would effectively emasculate council from the ability to go and charge a levy. And it also stops New Zealand firms who want to export potentially from exporting water. So so my submission relates, what I want to put in, the personal submission I will put in, relates basically to them stopping water bottling till such time as government's had a chance to consider making a law change.
all right, well, okay, so getting back to our one, if we as a board prepare one to support the changes in class change 8 for ECAN, which limits, it gives consents a bit more, consent holders more leverage what they can do with the water, but it excludes bottling water. I've got the documents here.
Yeah.
You know, I'll go through.
So yeah, I think we need to sit down and talk about it and figure out how we word it.
Right, well, put it this way, between us, we'll try and do something that's makes sense.
Yeah, because I had, that was my submission that I had originally done related to it. that I sent to you a while back. So do you want me to send that?
Right, you know what, leave it, without getting into the details of the
Yeah.
meeting, leave it that Alan will do a submission on behalf of the board to ECAN, support the changes they're providing.
Yeah.
Proposing.
Except for that
And
one.
give the board an opportunity to comment. and
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
vote it.
I want to, I want to see it before it goes to ECAN because I may not have the same opinion.
No, that's absolutely correct. I mean, my personal one is totally different from what I'm doing for the board one. The board one would be all of their changes apart from the water bottling one.
And I can just make a note, I'll be out of action between the 30th to the 3rd.
Yeah.
I'll be away, so.
Yeah.
So we'll get it done.
Yes.
Just from a procedural point of view,
Mhm.
because I know you love procedures, is that I think the way to address Barry's point and your comments, John, is that if Alan drafts it, he circulates the draft.
Mhm.
You accept and receive the feedback that you get from your colleagues, and then you generally form an opinion that you're relatively comfortable with this. Then it goes off based on your judgments, and then you retrospectively approve that submission from the board at your next meeting in September.
Right.
Would be the right way to go, because then it becomes a formal submission. If you get a point where you think that there's general consensus and that you're all generally happy, there might be some discontent about maybe one or two lines that you could just maybe note that and go that, you know, that you don't all need to agree for it to still become a submission of the board. But as long as you get general agreement that the overarching message is about right.
All right, we're all happy with that?
When is the proposal ECAN due?
4th. It was
Fourth
3rd to
of
4th.
August.
Yeah.
3rd of August. So we're away on 30th. Sometime middle of the night, so we'll wait, but we'll get something definitely. All right. The other thing in general business was I want to make a suggestion that the board get some more delegated authority. And it's come to my attention that we as a board could look after some of the reserves and different council-owned assets around the township and in the district. And I would like to get onto the agenda for discussion about whether the board could become responsible for the Kew Forest Park in Dartford. Now, this is a forest park of 40 hectares, 100 acres, and it's just up the road. We all see it there, but the trees in there are up to 100 years old, and this Douglas fir are surviving the climate change. But we'd like to get a report for our September meeting for the budget that council have got for work being done in there, what work's being done, and we would, my view is that the board could have some input into this, or a couple of members would be sort of a subsidiary committee to work with council staff on it.
Mm.
There's a bit of work to do on it, but it's a start.
Mm.
Does that ring a bell? What do you think of that idea?
Yeah, I think it's a good idea because it gives us a dipping a toe in the water of some wider community management stuff, which other community boards actually do, and particularly in Christchurch, where they actually have some delegated authority and funds and can work through some programs. So I think it's a great idea for us to be able to start enabling ourselves to be able to carry out that function.
Thank you. Yeah.
I'm in agreement as well. I've started making some phone calls to other community board members. I spent a good half an hour yesterday talking to someone from Hornby just to see what their delegations are, what they're up to, and that, because they seem to just have so much more ability. And then I look at I'll be talking soon to what do you call it, Bix Peninsula. They're basically the council over there. They are phenomenal. Everything that comes up, they are doing and telling the council. It's absolutely incredible. So I've just started to do a wee dive into it.
All right, well, this is,
So
this
that's
is, this is,
side
a-
to what you're
yeah.
saying.
well, this is a start here, and it's a local
Mm.
thing, and, if we can get that up and going,
Yes.
we've got other, and us next and get a community, get a tourist place back up again for the dogs or something.
I just had a question.
So,
It's a great idea. What do you think is the capacity and resourcing to look after reserves on a
don't know,
board perspective?
don't know.
So that would be one thing that I would like to understand.
Well, we'll get a report,
Yeah.
the report will say there's X number, because
Yes.
we know nothing about it. And yet
No.
people ask us, is it gonna be milled? Is
Yeah.
it gonna be cut down? Well,
Yeah.
we don't know.
I'd like to know, is there any legal issue, with it being a potential fire hazard, being so close to the railway line, that could actually come back and bite the board?
It wouldn't bite the board, it'd bite the council. Sure.
But if we're delegated.
Like
yeah,
a-
Have a look.
Yeah, yeah.
Look, if the general direction is, what I've heard is, what we would need to map out is what would be the approach to, firstly procedurally, offer or you requesting a delegation to come back, and we've been through this once before around road naming, it's relatively small and simple. This one's going to be a bit more complex, so we'll talk about the process. Then I think the first thing I've heard from you is tell us what the current management and work plan is for that forest. Tell us how much resource goes into it. Tell us how much staff time. Tell us all of these things that go into the management, and then you get a picture of that from an operations point of view. And then I think you have your discussion on, do we want to take on part of that, all of that, none of that? Because when you see the scale and scope of this, then you can make a call to go, okay, well, this is where we think the delegation goes. And then we start talking about how the delegation process works. Is that a relatively comfortable approach?
Absolutely.
That's exactly the way we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Because we don't know what we're talking about.
No, neither do I.
Right.
Great.
Just as long as you
we're all
don't
on the
have
same
doing any more
space.
fairy things to put in there, don't worry about that.
Excellent. And then we can touch on, if you take delegation, then you're taking the accountability to make decisions. You're responsible. You may not entirely be accountable because you're still accountable to council. But yeah, we can work through some of those things. So if you've got any questions, I'll take that away to the team and see how we can come back. I'll communicate that back to you to say, yeah, we can hit September. If you want to think about, these are all the things that in the back of my mind that I'd want to know, then I can start to scope this piece of work up so that I can give you an honest answer of, actually, this is a 6-month project. It's not a 2-month project. But if you can build that, let me know what you want, then I'll tell you what I think I can give you.
And would you also include the maintenance plan?
Yeah. So
Well,
anything around budget.
Everything.
Yes.
I mean, if anyone wants to go for a walk, go through there, and it's quite
I've
amazing.
been there.
It's magnificent.
And the people you see there, there was last time I went through there was a carload of that must have been a dad and mum and brother and sister in there, 13 or 14-year-old boys trying to learn about trees. They were telling these kids, it was fun. And anyway, let's start. All right, that's mine.
Cool.
Anything else?
We've got that for an action. I think that they were all the general business items.
Can I just bring up about having a meeting for the community in August?
Okay.
So
Right.
the bi-weekly.
So in other words,
Bi-weekly.
we still keep the day off the date. And
That's what I'd like to do.
keep the date because it's in everybody's system. And
So-
we're suggesting a 7 o'clock meeting for,
Yes, if it suits everyone. So it would be Thursday, the 27th of August. And we're thinking about the Darfield Recreation Centre for it.
And what would
And
be the agenda for it?
That's what I'd be sending out and asking everyone if there's what their points they'd like to before I even send it out to the public. I'd
well,
send
the
it to the
first
board and ask.
thing we've got to tell the people we're not meeting every month
Yes,
and what that means. And not necessarily in dollars and cents terms, but we can use these other meetings to do like some of the public forum
Hmm.
issues
Yeah.
and things like that.
Yeah.
And
Invite all the other RAs down
Yeah,
and
and any group,
yeah,
basically, it doesn't
any-
have to be just RAs,
No.
it's open to the community more.
yeah,
the advertising in the local paper. And I think that people like organisations like just the say federated farmers, for instance, they might have an issue that not enough cows getting around. So, you know, just be talk about planning and things. I think you'd be surprised what would come up. Like, it'll take a wee while to get some traction, but it's a start.
So I'd send it around to all the board members first and ask if there's any topics that they'd like to bring to the attention and then put it out to the community.
One before I finish, one vote of thanks to NZTA. They're putting variable speed signs down at the bottom of Millwood Corner on the State Highway 1, which will be great because that will slow some of the traffic down and make it a bit easier for those tankers.
To come round, to come up,
Mhm. Yeah.
turn off.
So as you come into the corner,
Yeah.
the lights come on like they do at Buchanan's Road.
Yeah.
And in theory, the traffic slows down.
Well, they tend to, yes, I travel that road a lot.
Mm.
All right, well, I think with all that, I think the day's finished.
No, just one,
Sorry, Barry.
yeah, one thing for me, I'm having a shoulder operation on the 4th of August, so I'll be off the air for a little while. I won't be able to drive for 6 weeks, so unless I can persuade my partner to become a taxi driver, I'll be dealing with most of the stuff online.
Oh, well, wish you good health.
Yeah, good
Best
luck.
of luck with it, mate.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks, Barry. All right, I'll see you meeting close.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh,
Thanks.
and before,